Sukuyan. So this video will go a little bit more in depth on voice in Mando'a. Voice in a sentence determines whether the subject is doing the action or receiving the action. Mando'a is almost always active voice, but sometimes passive voice makes sense or is easier than trying to shoehorn something into an active voice. So active is when the subject does the action, and passive is when the subject receives the action. So I like you is active because I am doing the liking. You are liked by me is passive because you are being liked. You're receiving the like. In Mando'a, active voice is the basic standard. Pretty much everything you've heard or said in Mando'a was probably active. But there is a way to make passive voice in Mando'a. You use kuir, to be. Now I said in the last video, never use it. Well, this is an exception, because when making a passive sentence, you actually change the verb from its regular form, and you turn it into an adjective with kui coming before it. I don't know if that's confusing or not, but it shouldn't be by the end of this. So let's use examples. I like you in Mando'a is ni guro gar, and it is active because I am doing the liking. If I wanted to say that in passive, you are liked by me, I would say gar kui gurish de ni. You add kui and you change guro to gurish, and obviously you put gar as the subject. And now, technically, this is grammatically correct, but you usually shouldn't say that because it's long and unnecessary. Why is it unnecessary? Well, because you know who's doing the action, and because you know you can make it into active voice, which in Mando'a, active voice is preferred. So instead of using the passive gar kui gurish de ni, you should say the active ni guro gar, because it's shorter and you know who is doing it. But this doesn't make passive voice useless, because sometimes you don't know the doer of the action, and that is when you should use passive. Because if you don't know who's doing the action, you can't use active unless you use some sort of pronoun. So for example, gar kui gurish, you are liked. It's passive. You don't know who is doing the liking, so you can't say de ni because you don't know it's me. And since you don't know it's me, you can't change it to the active ni guro gar. However, if you want it to be active, you can try to force it to be by adding a pronoun such as someone else, which is ashad. So you could make it active by saying ashad guro gar, someone else likes you. So you have the option of making it active, but this is generally the one case where I actually would prefer the passive gar kui gurish, because I think it sounds better to say you are liked than someone else likes you. Unless that's the fits better for the context, you can use either. And technically, you could say gar kui gurish de ashad, but at that point, the amount of unnecessary extra work you just put in to make it longer and more complicated might get you stabbed by an angry Mando, and that angry Mando might be me. Anyway, I hope that clears up voice in Mando'a, and I hope you have a nice day. Go to me.